Beloved child, you are a precious gem in my eyes, a soul no one can replace. An irreplaceable part of the divine symphony I composed from the dawn of creation. Because you are so valuable. Because my love for you runs deeper than words can express. I speak to you today not only with gentleness, but with a heart filled with holy urgency. This is not the time for you to slumber in the fleeting comfort of the world, nor the time to ignore the gentle whisper of my spirit deep within you. Time is shifting. The universe is stirring, and there are spiritual matters of eternal significance unfolding, even now matters you cannot afford to overlook. You may think that all is well, that each day is just another ordinary cycle in the rhythm of life. But I see beyond what human eyes can perceive. I know there are cracks forming in your spiritual wall, small distractions that seem harmless, but are quietly slowing the flow of grace I long to pour out. There are things I desire to accomplish in your life, things so good and powerful they surpass your current understanding. But for them to take shape, you must open your heart and listen to my voice with reverence and seriousness. This is not a warning meant to stir fear, but an invitation wrapped in love. Because you are so dear to me, I cannot remain silent while you stand at the crossroads between my will and the pull of the world. I see what you do not. There are doors that appear harmless, but behind them lie spiritual dryness and forgetfulness of the calling I've placed in your heart. There are delays that seem ordinary but are being used by the enemy to plant seeds of doubt and weariness, slowing your steps along the path of faith. My child, you cannot delay your awakening. Your spiritual life is the root of everything else. Your thoughts, your actions, your relationships, even your destiny in my kingdom. If that root is weak, the tree cannot stand when storms come. But if you let me till the soil, nurture it, water it with my word and my presence, no wind will be strong enough to uproot you from the promised land I've prepared for you. Do not wait until everything falls apart to seek me. Do not let today's words become tomorrow's regret. Hear me now, while your heart is still tender, while I am drawing near to touch your spirit with mercy and truth. Let humility guide you, not your own will, but mine. As you walk in the light I shine before you, you don't need to understand everything to obey. You only need to believe that I love you, that my plans are good, and that my word is life. I'm not giving you these words to burden you, but to protect you from the snares ahead. Every word I speak is a key unlocking freedom, restoration, and the destiny only you can carry in this universe. Beloved, the winds are rising. There are spiritual battles that human eyes cannot see, but I see them. And I need you in your rightful place as a child who understands the weight of this sacred calling, as a warrior of prayer, as a soul no longer drifting between two worlds. You cannot live casually in this season where I am calling for deeper maturity, preparation, and wholehearted surrender. Let every day be your response to my love. Let each decision you make reflect your trust in my plan. Let your life be the evidence that, despite the chaos, there is still one who walks in the light because they heard my voice and did not turn away. I am here, my child, closer than you think, and I will not stop speaking until you rise in clarity. Stand firm in your calling, and walk as one who knows they are deeply loved and uniquely chosen. Do not fear. Do not delay. Come closer. The time to act is now. Beloved child, there is something I want you to face today, something you may have skillfully avoided or quietly buried beneath smiles and daily busyness. Do you remember the one who hurt you? The moment your heart shattered, trust was broken, and the words or actions made you feel cast aside. abandoned, unloved. I saw it all. I never turned a blind eye to your pain. But I also see what's happening within you, the way that wound hasn't just hurt you once, but has become a prison with no door. You may not realize it, but every time you think of that person with bitterness, you are locking yourself tighter in chains. Every time you recall the past with a smoldering anger, you are stepping further from my embrace. I have gently called you near before, whispered to your spirit, "Forgive." But you did not respond, not because you refused to listen, but because you feared that forgiving would make you weak, would let the other person get away with it, or would make your pain seem insignificant. But child, forgiveness is not surrender. It is the boldest act you can make. It is the declaration that you will no longer allow the past to dictate your present or rob you of the future I have designed for you. Unforgiveness, when left unaddressed, becomes more than an emotion. It becomes a bitter root that silently spreads through your soul, draining your joy, distorting your vision, and making you suspicious even of genuine love. It builds a wall between you and me, not because I pull away, but because you build it, brick by brick, with resentment and unresolved pain. You long for freedom, for peace, for closeness with me. But those things cannot flow into a heart still crowded with what should have been released. I am not saying that forgiveness is easy. No. Sometimes it is a battle, a journey through layers of emotion, waves of anger, and tears that sting. But it is a journey you do not walk alone. I will be with you. I will hold you when your heart aches. I will lift you when you feel weak. And with each step you take in letting go, with each whisper of, "I choose to forgive," another chain will shatter. Another part of your soul will breathe again. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or pretending the hurt never happened. It means choosing not to let that pain define or control you anymore. It means trusting that I, the just and loving God, will handle it rightly, in my time, in my way. It means placing that burden in my hands, so I can bring healing, restoration, and divine justice. If only you knew the freedom waiting on the other side of forgiveness, you would not hesitate. If you could see the light I've prepared to shine into the darkest corners of your wounded soul, you would rush to open your heart. You've prayed to be closer to me. You long for a life full of my spirit, a heart tender to my voice. But unforgiveness is the dam that blocks that flow. It not only hinders your relationships with others, it dims the intimacy between you and me. So today, I do not come to scold. I come to set free, to break the chains, to wipe away your tears. But I need your cooperation. I need your courage to look that pain in the eye and say, "I no longer hold you. I forgive." Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. Not because they've changed, but because you are ready to. And when you enter into forgiveness, you will step into healing. Not a slow, shallow healing, but a deep one. From the roots up, renewing your mind, your heart, and your spirit. I love you far too much to watch you live in captivity another day. I have prepared for you a full life, overflowing with peace and purpose. But you cannot enter it with fists still clenching the past. So open your hands. Surrender everything to me. Believe that when you let go, I will take hold and give you peace, freedom, and a heart at rest. From heaven above, I'm waiting for you not in a distant place, but right here where your trembling heart wrestles between holding on and letting go, between pain and longing to be loved. Come closer, child, and begin again with forgiveness. with freedom, with a life no longer bound by what has been, but pointed toward the glorious things I've prepared ahead. Beloved, I know there are things within you too deep for words, old wounds still bleeding in silence, memories no one else knows echoing in the night, tightening your heart. And I know there are people who hurt you so deeply that forgiveness feels impossible. I do not dismiss that pain. I do not belittle what you've endured. Every tear, every sigh, every cry in your agony, I have seen. I have heard. But today, I must tell you this with tenderness and urgency. Forgiveness is not merely an emotional act, it is a spiritual step with the power to release your soul. You must understand, my child, that when you hold on to unforgiveness, you are not merely clinging to a memory or a wound, you are holding on to a chain. It binds you, not only to the one who caused the pain, but also to the darkness that crept in through that wound. Unforgiveness doesn't just make you bitter, it withers your spirit. It clouds your spiritual vision, making it hard for you to see my guidance clearly. It's like a layer of dust on a mirror, dimming my image in you and preventing your heart from reflecting the light of my peace. My beloved, you often pray, asking me to bless you, to lead you, to heal you. But you do not realize that when you close off a part of your heart because of resentment, you are also closing the door I long to enter. I cannot bless what I cannot touch, and I cannot touch what you have locked away, unwilling to release. Forgiveness is not a statement that what they did was right. It is a choice not to be bound by the wrong they committed. You may be arguing in your heart, but Father, they hurt me deeply. They betrayed my trust, took what was precious, and left me doubting humanity. I know. I was there. I stood beside you on your darkest day, even if you did not notice. But hear me clearly now. Every time you hold on to unforgiveness, you are giving that act continued power over you, not just in the past, but in your present and your future. You are allowing one dark moment to shape your entire journey, and that is not my will for you. I did not create you to live imprisoned by memory. I created you to walk in light, in freedom, in healing. But the light cannot enter where the heart is closed. Freedom cannot come where old chains are still carried. And healing will always remain just out of reach if you do not let it begin with forgiveness. My beloved child, forgiveness is not a feeling that comes naturally. It is a spiritual decision, an intentional act that says, I choose not to let this control me anymore. I choose to let you, Father, be the judge. And I choose to let go because I trust you can do what I cannot. Forgiveness is handing me the burden. It is telling the darkness that it no longer has power. It is telling your own heart that it can breathe again, love again, and live again. And when you do that, you will be amazed at what I do next. Not punishment for the other person, but transformation within you. The peace you've longed for will begin to pour in. The joy you thought had died will rise again. And best of all, my presence will become more real than ever before in your life. Because now, there is no barrier between us. Nothing blocks you from the divine flow of blessing I prepared for you before the foundation of the world. You cannot control the actions of others, but you can choose how you respond. And forgiveness is the response of a strong soul, one who believes true justice comes from heaven, and that no one can take away their worth when they have been called precious by the Father. You don't need to wait until you feel strong enough to forgive. It is in the act of forgiving that my strength will come. You don't need to understand everything before you let go. It is in letting go that wisdom and healing will begin to flow. So today, I call you not with thunder, but with the whisper of a father who loves you unconditionally. Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. Not because they are trustworthy, but because I am faithful. And not because what they did was right, but because you are choosing what is right to move forward. Open your heart. My beloved, let my light flood in. Let peace return. And let your life no longer be limited by old wounds, but lifted by the wings of forgiveness and grace. My beloved child, I know you are carrying things in your heart that are not easy to forget. Some wounds are not just memories, they are silent knives that cut deep. Still hurting after all these years. Some people have hurt you. Some words have made you feel worthless. Some actions have caused you to question love itself. I have never turned away from that pain. And today I do not come to rebuke you for the emotions you are holding on to, but to invite you to step out of what binds you day after day. Because I know you were not made to live in constant hurt. You were made for freedom. I understand that forgiveness is not easy. It is not an impulsive act or a fleeting feeling. Forgiveness is a choice, sometimes one you make again each day, through tears, trembling, and on days when it feels impossible to move forward. But it is the only choice that brings true freedom, because you cannot carry resentment and receive the peace I long to pour into your heart at the same time. You cannot walk in light while clinging to the darkness of what has passed. And I ask you today from the depths of my heart, do you want to be free? My child, freedom does not mean forgetting everything. Freedom does not mean pretending nothing ever happened. Freedom means not allowing the past to bind your present steps or dim your future vision. Freedom is when you no longer let someone's words or actions define your worth, but let my love and grace declare who you are. Freedom is when your heart feels lighter, when breathing becomes easier, when you can smile genuinely without carrying the sorrow behind your eyes. My child, forgiveness is not because the other person deserves it. If you had to wait for them to truly repent, to understand your pain, or return what they took, you might never begin. But I don't want you to wait for that, because while you wait, your heart stays heavy. While you cling to resentment as a shield, you are harming yourself. Resentment costs no one but you. It is like a slow poison, draining your soul, dimming the light in your eyes, silencing the voice of joy within your heart. I have called you to walk in forgiveness, not because wrong becomes right, but because I want you to be healed, because you deserve peace, because you deserve a heart that no longer bleeds, because you were not made to live as a victim, but as one who is set free. Forgiveness does not erase the truth that you were hurt. It declares that the pain no longer has dominion over your life. Forgiveness is stepping out of a locked room, letting the light of love flood in, and entering into the new life I have prepared for you. You ask, how can I forgive when my heart still hurts? And I answer you this: you do not need to wait until the pain is gone to forgive. But when you forgive, that is when I begin to heal. Forgiveness is the first key that unlocks the door to miracles. You will not walk this path alone. I will hold your hand, step by step, day by day, and every crack in your heart will be filled with my tenderness. And one day, when you look back, you will no longer see someone broken, but someone who has been made whole. My beloved, look ahead. Do not let what is behind you overshadow what is coming. Do not let those who hurt you continue to define your life. I have prepared for you a future, a hope, a destiny not limited by anyone's wrongdoing. But you cannot walk into it while still carrying invisible chains. Open your heart. Let me do what only I can do, heal you to the core. And that begins with one choice: to let go. Not because you forget, not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to choose something better: life, freedom, and true peace from me. I am still here, my child, patient, loving, and waiting. No matter how long it took for you to reach this point, I never left. And today, I place before you a new path. Not a path of repeated pain, but a path of healing. You need only take one step, one decision, one whispered confession: I choose to forgive, and I will take care of the rest. I love you, not because you always do right, but because you are mine, and I want you to be free, to be healed, and to live a life of fullness. Come close and begin again. Begin with forgiveness. Begin with love. Begin with this very moment. My beloved child, today I call out to you, not in anger, but in the deep sorrow of a father who placed his full trust in the child he dearly loves. I have not turned my back on you, but it is you who have turned away from me time and again. I do not regret what I have given, but my heart aches to see you squander it, the precious gifts, the sacred opportunities, the abilities bestowed not for your own keeping, but to bring my light and love to a world longing to be healed. Do you not know that when I formed you, I breathed into you not only the breath of life, but a part of my own heart, a unique calling, a mission no one else can fulfill? Within you lies beauty wrapped in eternal love and wisdom. But now, when I look at you, I see those treasures covered in dust, not because they have lost value, but because you have ceased to cherish them as you once did. You have allowed that light to fade amid worries, in choices driven by fleeting values, in the pursuit of things you thought were success, but which have only drained your soul. You once heard my voice calling you. You once felt the divine stirring in your heart. There were moments you longed to live for something greater, something eternal. But then, you chose to stray from that path. You let other voices drown out, mind the whispers of this world telling you that you're not enough, that you need more, that you must prove yourself to others. And you believed them. You ran after recognition instead of running to grace. You chased after the admiration of men rather than holding on to the gaze of love I have always fixed on you. I do not condemn you for being lost, but I grieve that you do not recognize you are lost. You still think you are living well, but truly, you are living without purpose. You have placed great weight on what is not eternal and treated lightly what holds everlasting value. You have exchanged the golden cup of divine calling for the temporary stew of this world. And in doing so, you have lost something far greater, the abundant life, the true peace, and my daily presence on your journey. So, my child, pause for a moment. Look at your life through spiritual eyes. What are you living for? What are you investing your time, energy, and thoughts into? Will the things you're chasing today stand in the light of eternity? You once dreamed of a life of impact, of a soul ablaze with my love. But now, you have faded into the crowd, losing the very voice I placed within you to call the lost back home. I do not say these things to shame you. I say them to awaken you, because I still see the flame that has not gone out. There is still a seed of divine life waiting to be awakened. There is still a calling deep within you, crying to live again. I have not forgotten what I placed in your heart, even if you have. And today, if you are willing to return, if you are willing to admit you've strayed, I will renew all things. I will breathe new life into what you thought had withered. I will awaken what you believed was lost. because nothing is ever too late when you return to me. Remember, my beloved, life is not measured by what you possess, but by how you use what I have entrusted to you. Gifts are not given to be stored, but to bear fruit for the kingdom of heaven. Time is not given to be spent, but to be sown, and your soul, it was not created to chase the applause of men, but to echo the praises of heaven. I am still waiting for your return, not to judge, but to restore, not to replay your failures, but to reveal a new way forward. I want you to pick up the forgotten instrument, to revive the song that once sang within you, to rekindle the lamp that flickers low. I want you to live a life where every day you know you are in the right place, at the right time, fulfilling the very purpose I created you for. And when you return, you will not find me distant or cold. You will find arms still open wide, a heart still beating for you, and a voice that has never stopped calling, my child, come home, live again. Step into the sacred destiny I wrote for you before time began. For no matter how long you have wandered, my love has never run dry. And the most precious thing is not the past you lost, but the present in which you can begin again. My precious child, in a world that demands perfection, where every flaw is judged, every mistake exposed and magnified, I want you to know this deep truth. I do not demand perfection from you. I do not require you to be spotless. Never err, or be like anyone else you've ever compared yourself to. The one thing I long for from you is willingness. Willingness to step out and use what I have placed inside you, no matter how small, how unfinished, how uncertain you feel. If you place it in my hands, I can do what no one expects. I have given you gifts, abilities, and even experiences that are yours and yours alone. They did not come by accident, and they are not without meaning. Every one of them is a piece of the design I made specifically for you, before you were formed in your mother's womb. This world needs a light that only you can carry. No one else can take your place in what I have assigned. There are people who can only be reached through your presence, your words, and the love that flows from your heart. And if you do not step out, if you keep waiting to be good enough, ready enough, perfect enough, then some doors may close, not because I won't bless you, but because you didn't dare to walk through them. You may think, I'm not strong enough. I'm still afraid. I don't have the courage others seem to have. But I did not choose you because you are strong. I chose you so that I could be strong in you. The ones I used in Scripture were not perfect. Moses hesitated. Jonah fled. Peter denied me. And Paul once persecuted. But when they surrendered, when they placed their hearts in my hands, I used them to accomplish great things. You, too, are no exception. I do not need you to be flawless. I need you to believe. My child, what makes you useful in my hands is not your perfection, but your obedience. When you walk in faith, when you say yes to what I have called you to, I will equip you with everything you need. I will make a way where there is none. Put words in your mouth when you don't know what to say, and give you strength when you are weary. It is in the moments when you feel weakest that I will reveal my power most mightily, and what happens then will not be by your strength, but by mine, and so the glory will be mine, but the blessing I will gladly share with you. If you keep forgetting your calling, if you keep chasing after the external and miss the voice within, you will not only lose precious time, but also the blessings that are tied to obedience. The deep joys of living in your purpose, the doors that open when you walk the path I've chosen, the divine connections, the seasons of spiritual harvest. All of these come only when you step into your mission. Do not let the world make you forget why you were created. Do not let fear bury the talents I placed in your hands. Do not let hesitation steal the years you were meant to live in the fullness of my grace and power. You don't need to become someone else to be used by me. You only need to be who you are, the one I carefully and lovingly formed. I see what you consider small, and I know it becomes more than enough when placed in my hands. A sincere prayer, a quiet act of kindness, a heart that chooses to love and forgive. These are the things that can change someone's life when done with my love. My child, let your heart return to the simplicity of faith. Remember that first moment when you felt the stirring of your calling, when you knew your life was meant for something greater, deeper, more eternal than mere survival. Recapture that fire. Reignite that calling. Begin again, even if it's with the smallest step. Because when you walk, I will walk with you. When you grow faint, I will lift you. And when you give me your all, I will multiply it in ways you cannot imagine. This world is in desperate need of light, and you are one of the lamps I have lit for this hour. Do not let that flame be hidden. Let it burn brightly through your obedience, through your faith, and through your genuine love for me. You are not alone. You are not forgotten, and it is not too late. The time is now. The journey is today, and the calling still echoes in your heart, like a melody waiting to be sung, waiting for you to respond with the words, "Father, I am ready, and I will take it from there, for I have called you, and I will also bring it to completion, because you are my child, and it brings me joy to see you walk in what I created you to fulfill. My beloved, let me speak to you with all the sincerity of a father who loved you long before you even knew your own name. I am not angry with you. My child, I do not raise my voice to condemn you, but my heart aches because I see within you a great potential buried beneath the dust of forgetfulness and hesitation. I see what you cannot yet see. I hear the longings you have not dared to speak, and I know you are capable of more, not by your own might, but through the grace and power I have long prepared for you. You are not an insignificant soul sent into the world to simply pass the days. You are part of my eternal plan, a piece no one else can replace in the masterpiece of redemption. I have placed sacred gifts within you, not to be forgotten, but to be revealed. You carry within you a unique calling, a light that is yours alone, and an impact that only you can bring to this world. But I am grieved to see you lingering at the intersection of fear and delay. You wait for a perfect time, when in truth, this very moment is the one appointed for you to rise. I cannot remain silent as you continue down the road of forgetfulness. I love you too much to let you remain in a safe place that bears no fruit. It is because I love you deeply that I must call you out of it. I know forgiveness is hard. I know walking by faith demands great courage, but it is in the places that seem impossible where my power is revealed most clearly. You don't have to be perfect to begin. You only need to begin, and I will complete what I started in you. My child, pause for a moment and listen not with your ears, but with your heart. The words I whisper to you are not noise from the outside, but a calling from the deep, a place within your soul that longs to live fully, to walk rightly, to return to the true meaning of life. I am asking you now, in this very moment, are you listening? Do you feel the stirring within, the trembling of your heart that knows what I'm saying is meant for you? The choice is not in anyone else's hands. It does not depend on circumstances or timing, or whether someone understands you. The choice is yours. I will not force you, for true love never coerces. But I have opened a door that leads to restoration, to purpose, to the fullness of all I have ordained for you. That door is open now, shining bright with hope, but it will not stay open forever. Not because I will close it, but because time on earth is finite. Some opportunities, if not seized today, may never return the same way again. So what will you do? My child, will you keep delaying, letting old wounds define you, letting fear restrain you, letting the lies of the enemy blur your true worth, or will you bravely rise? Forgive first yourself, then those who hurt you, and step into the abundant life I've prepared. You are not alone in this journey. Every step you take toward me is one I've already taken toward you. All you have to do is move, and I will walk with you. I know you may feel unqualified, but I do not call the qualified, I equip the willing. I do not ask you to have every answer. I only ask for one response. Father, I am willing, and from that response, I will do things beyond your imagination. Blessings you never dreamed of will begin to pour out. Doors you thought were forever closed will swing open. Dreams you thought were buried will rise again. And you will discover that truly, nothing is more precious than living in the very reason I created you. My beloved, do not turn away. Do not let this moment pass like an invisible breeze. This is no ordinary moment. This is a divine invitation from a Father who knows every hidden corner of your heart and still loves you without change. This is the call of grace, and grace is always sufficient, always waiting. But it cannot be postponed forever. So step forward. My child, choose forgiveness. Choose to walk in the light. Choose to live fully in the potential I placed within you. And then, you will not only see your own life transformed, but you will become a vessel to transform the lives of others. That is the most glorious thing a soul can experience, to live for something greater than itself, to live for the eternal kingdom of the Father. And I will always be there, beside you from your very first step to your final breath, because you are mine, and I will never stop calling you home. My beloved child, there are things I need you to understand, not merely with your mind, but with your heart, for some truths cannot be conveyed through rigid words, but must be felt in the deep silence of a soul that truly listens. Today, I want you to know this. My wrath, if you have ever sensed it as something frightening, is not a sign of hatred, nor the cold punishment you once imagined. No, my child, that wrath does not come from anger. It is the fiercest expression of love I have for you, because I love you too deeply. I cannot stay silent when I see you locking yourself in the darkness of unforgiveness. When you refuse to forgive, you are not merely declining a noble act. You are choosing to remain in a prison of your own making. The wounds you hold on to may seem like a form of justice for the pain you've endured, but in truth, they are chains that dry out your soul, burden your spirit, and distance you from the life I long to give you. Each time you feed anger, each time you replay someone's offense in your mind, you are pushing yourself further away from the healing flow and peace I offer. You may think that holding on to the pain protects your heart from being hurt again, but my child, it is that very grip that wounds you the most. When you build walls of resentment and pain, you don't just shut others out, you unintentionally shut me out as well, the only one who can enter and heal the cracks of your soul. It's not that I am unwilling to act, but I never force myself in. I can only touch the places you are willing to open. And when you hold tightly to unforgiveness, you are holding tightly to brokenness, refusing to let my light enter the place that most needs healing. You ask, Father, why should I forgive when they don't even regret what they've done? When they have no idea how deeply they've hurt me? I understand that question. I have heard it echo in countless broken hearts, and I do not judge you for asking it. But I want you to know that forgiveness is not declaring the other person innocent. It is choosing not to let them control you for one more moment. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful acts a person can do when they place their heart in my hands. It is the key that unlocks the prison door, not for them, but for you, my beloved child. True love cannot stand idly by while you live in chains and call it freedom. It is precisely because I love you that I urgently invite you to let go. Forgiveness does not erase the memory, but it removes its poison. Forgiveness does not make you weak, it sets you free. And only when you step into forgiveness can you truly make space for me to move fully in your life. You long for blessing. You pray for breakthrough. You seek peace, but all of these can only flow into a place where forgiveness has cleared the path. I have prepared for you things greater than what you've dared to imagine. I have written a life of purpose, meaning, and deep communion with me. But just like a river blocked by stones cannot flow freely, the blessings I've designed for you cannot flood your soul when bitterness builds the dam. My child, I know forgiveness is not easy. I know it requires you to place your trust in me, to let me be your justice, to believe that I will straighten what man cannot fix. But I promise you this: when you forgive, I will take care of the rest. I will restore. I will compensate. I will lift you from your weakness with the strength of my eternal grace. Do not think I am far just because you don't see instant signs. Do not assume I am silent, when in truth I am waiting for your heart to soften. I am always here, ready to step in, if only you open your heart. There is no wound too deep for me to heal. There is no pain too great for me to touch. But I need you to partner with me by releasing what you've clung to as part of your identity. Because the truth is, you are not your pain. You are my image bearer, destined to live in freedom, in abundant life, in the light that never fades. My beloved child, let these words sink deep into your spirit. Allow my Holy Spirit to stir the parts of you that have been shut down for too long. Let the river of forgiveness begin to flow gently, yet powerfully, and then you will see the miracle unfold. Your heart will be healed, your mind renewed, and your life will step into a new season, a season of restoration, of unshackled joy, and of deep closeness with me. I am calling you back, not to condemn you, but to embrace you and say, you have forgiven. Now you are truly free. And in that freedom, blessings will fall like rain. For where forgiveness abides, there I am. And where I am, no chain can remain. My beloved, perhaps you have felt confused while reading the scriptures, especially the parts that speak of my wrath, those moments when I expressed anger toward my people through warnings, judgments, and deep sorrow. But today, I want you to understand something that only love can explain, that wrath did not come from rejection, nor from cold condemnation. It was never the mark of a distant deity. It was the desperate cry of a father who loves deeply, yearning for his children to return before it is too late. I saw my people, the ones I chose, presquid, and loved wander again and again, chasing idols, temporary values, and paths that pulled them away from the true source of life. I saw them dismiss my words, grow indifferent to my teaching, and place their confidence in roads that seemed safe but led to destruction. I saw their hearts harden, their ears close to my voice, their backs turned from grace, and in those moments, my anger flared not because I hated them, but because I couldn't bear to watch them choose what would damage their souls. Do you know the feeling of a father watching his child run toward danger? Unaware, a little one playing near fire, stepping toward a cliff without knowing? No one could stand by silently, and neither could I. True love cannot remain silent while the beloved drifts from life. Real love must act, must stir, mustavaken, and sometimes that awakening wears the face of righteous indignation. But behind it all is a heart breaking with love. My anger was never meant to destroy. It was always a warning to awaken. It was never the end, but an urgent invitation. Come back before it's too late. In every expression of wrath, there was waiting. In every rebuke, there was a longing to forgive. I have never displayed my anger without extending hope for restoration. What I have always desired was not punishment but true repentance, so that I could heal, restore, and bring my children back to abundant life. My child, consider this. Would I not remain silent if I no longer loved? Would I not withdraw, cease to care, leave you to your own ways if my love had run dry? But because I still love, because I still long, because I still yearn for intimacy, I raise my voice. Even my anger is proof that I am still fighting for you, for your future, for your soul that I cannot bear to lose. And this is not just about the people of the past, it is true for you today. When you choose what grieves my heart, when you let your affections drift from my holy presence, when the voice of the world becomes louder than mine, my heart aches just as it did before. I am not angry because you are weak. I am not disappointed because you fall short. But I grieve when you choose to remain in your failure rather than return. I grieve when you shut me out from the healing I stand ready to give. And just like before, if you sense my anger, know that it is part of my love, a sorrowful cry that pleads, my child, don't go astray any longer. And, do you know, my child, that I never grow weary of calling you back to me, no matter how far you've wandered, no matter how long you've been gone. My invitation remains unchanged. But I also want you to understand that there are seasons that will pass, and doors that will not stay open forever, not because I shut them, but because your heart can grow calloused, and sometimes you won't even hear my voice anymore. That is why I must awaken you. That is why I must speak loudly to keep you from sleeping forever in a land that was never meant to be your home. My beloved child, listen to my voice in this season. Do not fear my discipline. Let it be a reminder that you are still loved, that you still have a chance, that you can still return. And when you do, you will not find an angry God waiting to judge, but a compassionate Father with open arms, a heart burning with love, and a feast of celebration prepared for your soul. I have never given up on you, and I will not stop calling you, for you belong to me. Come back, so I can wipe away your tears, heal what has been broken, restore what you thought was lost, and lead you into a new journey, a journey full of hope, full of light, and full of the glory I prepared for you from the beginning of time. Because to me, there is nothing more precious than seeing my child live according to the purpose I created you for, to live, to be loved, and to walk closely with me forever. My beloved child, I know it's not easy. I know there are wounds in your life too deep for words, memories that quietly surface and pierce your heart each time they come. Some hurts no longer bleed outwardly, yet remain etched into your soul, silent, enduring, and slow to fade. You have tried to be strong. often pretending to be fine, pretending to have moved on. But I see the moments when your head bows in quiet sorrow, the nights you cannot sleep because your heart is heavy. I was there. Child, I never left. I understand that forgiveness is not merely an emotional choice, it is a spiritual battle. You've held on to the hurt not because you wanted to become bitter, but because you didn't know how to let go. It felt as if forgiving would mean denying the pain you endured. You believed that forgetting would somehow diminish the wrongs done to you. But hear me clearly. From the depths of my loving and merciful heart, forgiveness is not the denial of pain. Forgiveness is the declaration that pain no longer has the right to control your life. Forgiveness does not mean what happened was right. It does not mean the words that hurt you were justified, or that the actions of others should be excused. No, my child. Forgiveness is the choice to break free from the chains those wounds have wrapped around you. It is the refusal to let the past dictate your present. It is the opening of your heart to receive the healing I have long prepared for you. But healing cannot enter where the door is still locked by bitterness, anger, and blame. Only you, and you alone, can choose to turn the key, and you do not have to do it alone. I am here, right beside you, ready to lift you when you are weak, to wipe your tears when you collapse, and to whisper love into the places where your soul is breaking. I do not ask you to be strong enough to forgive. I only ask that you be willing, because once you take that first step, I will carry you through the rest. I will fill you with grace, gently touch every wound, bind up and revive what you thought was dead inside. Imagine a bird with a torn wing. It cannot fly because its wing aches and bleeds. But if it allows itself to be cared for, to rest in safety, every feather will regrow, every muscle will heal, and one day it will soar again free from the pain that once grounded it. You are like that, my child. You were not made to limp forever in sorrow. You were created to fly, to live in freedom, and to reflect my image through a healed life. I do not promise that you will never be hurt again, but I promise that when pain comes, I will be with you. I do not promise you will understand every reason why things happen, but I promise I will use all things, even your pain, for your good. If you love me and walk according to my calling, and the first thing I am calling you to today is forgiveness. Forgive to be healed. Forgive to be free. Forgive so you can truly live again. My dear child, do not delay. Don't wait until your emotions settle, because emotions are like waves, they shift. But a decision is an anchor, and you can choose to release, not because you're strong, but because you know the one who will uphold you in your weakness. I am that one, and I will never leave you. Give me the hurt you've held for so long. Place the pain into my hands. Believe that I, with a love that never wavers, can heal what seems unhealable. And when you begin to forgive, you'll feel your heart grow lighter, your eyes see differently, and your breath no longer rushed by anxiety. You will step into a new life not confined by the past, but expanded by the hope found in me. My child, you are worthy of freedom. You are worthy of peace. You are worthy of healing. And I am here, arms open wide, to receive you and lead you into full restoration. Do not fear. Step forward. Forgive not because they deserve it, but because you do, and in that forgiveness, you will find me, the one who not only understands your pain, but is wholly committed to healing it with the loving heart of a father. And there, in that sacred place, you will truly begin to live. My beloved child, today, I do not come to you with thunder or dazzling miracles. I come with a quiet question, gentle yet powerful, echoing in the deepest chambers of your soul. Are you willing to forgive, not as a religious ritual or a duty-bound act, but as a true choice, voluntary, humble, and courageous, flowing from the heart of someone who understands that freedom does not come from holding on, but from letting go? My dear child, I know you've been through things no one else can fully comprehend. I know that your pain is not just a passing moment, it is a journey, a collection of years carrying wounds in your heart that have yet to heal. I see the walls you've built to protect yourself from further hurt, and I understand why you did. But I also see that those same walls are now blocking the light of true peace, keeping you from my embrace. Are you feeling weary? My child, does your heart sometimes feel empty? Even though on the outside you keep smiling. Keep living. Keep fulfilling your responsibilities. Have you prayed for healing? Longed to step into a new season of blessing, and yet felt as if you're standing still? I hear your cries. But I also see the door you're not yet ready to open, the door called forgiveness. Forgiveness is not weakness. On the contrary, forgiveness is one of the most courageous choices a person can make. It doesn't erase the past, but it frees you from the weight of it. It doesn't excuse the one who caused the pain, but it makes room for the wounded to be restored. Forgiveness isn't a gift for someone else. It is first and foremost a gift you give yourself. A gift of lightness, of peace, of a new beginning. So I ask you again, are you willing to let go of the anger? Are you willing to release the bitterness that has been eating away at your joy? Are you willing to stop rehearsing the wounds in your heart as if they define your identity? Are you willing to let me, your Father, step in, heal, and renew your heart? I will not force you to forgive. I never meant for forgiveness to become another burden upon your shoulders, but I am opening a door, and only you can choose to walk through it. Don't delay. My beloved, don't wait for your emotions to catch up. Transformation begins with a decision, not with a feeling. The moment you decide to let go, in that very moment, my Spirit will begin to work wonders. I will wipe your tears, cleanse your deepest wounds, calm the silent sobs, and give you a new heart, a heart no longer filled with resentment, but overflowing with love. You are not alone in this decision. I am waiting for you, not to judge, but to welcome, not to bring up the past, but to lead you into the future. A future I have prepared with my own loving hands since before you were formed in your mother's womb. A future of deep peace, of unbroken communion between you and me, of dreams revived and callings restored. You still have time, but the moment is now, not tomorrow, not when everything feels perfect, not when you think you're strong enough, but today with everything you have, everything you feel, everything you're carrying in your heart. Start right where you are, with just a whisper, Father, I choose to forgive, and I will do the rest. My precious child, there is nothing you let go of that I cannot replace with something better. When you release resentment, I will fill that space with peace. When you leave behind the land of hurt, I will bring you into my rest. When you stop clinging to the past, I will hand you a meaningful present and a hope-filled future. Do not let old pain slow your steps in this new journey. Do not let yesterday's shadows dim the light I'm shining before you. Beloved, my heart has always been turned toward you. My eyes have never left you, and my hands remain open, patiently waiting for the day you return, not in fear, but in freedom. Choose freedom. My child, choose love, choose forgiveness. For there, in that sacred choice, You will find me the one who has never stopped loving you, never stopped believing that today you would choose to come home. Amen. As a child of God, you are never alone. He is always by your side, reminding you to walk in faith and to trust in His everlasting love. Follow this channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss a single word He speaks from the heavens. Amen.